Hey, tomorrow is my little brother Jared's birthday. March 24th. What year was he born? I was born 1991 in November. So 91. I'm 0 for most of it. And then I was born 6 years after that. So 91, 1994, 97, 98. I think it's March 24th, 98. I'm kind of relying on Vataj's tattoo, my memory of it. But anyway, his death day was February 10th. There's something to this, what do you call it? Stereotype of the miser. People who love money being miserable. That's my brother to a T. The last 2 years of his life, he was at his most miserable up to the point that he killed himself. And at least, that's the official stories that he killed himself. God knows what really happened. I know that after it happened, I came here with my wife, and it didn't take her very long to start wiping the handprints out of the hallway. And that upset me because that should have been investigated. My Chinese wife. And then there's February, March, April. She left 2 months later. Got out of there fast with her whole family. They were living in my house. A dragon. That family is a dragon. They're Welsh and Chinese. I like that. Anyway, found this thing that he wrote. I know he wrote it because, I don't know if you can see this. This is a rough draft, and he made notes on how to improve it. I'm going to read it to you. I haven't read it. It's been sitting right here for like a month and a half. And today I actually looked at it. This is a template for financial success by Jared. I believe that one of the biggest reasons people don't even try to save money is because they don't exactly know what to do with it if they did have it. Call this a lack of financial literacy, if you will. Without options, what's the point? In this book, we're going to go over exactly what you can do to build up your resources and secure your financial future. He originally wrote, we're going to go over many of them and exactly what you can do to save up your finances. He scratched out many of them and he scratched out save up your finances. In this book, we're going to go over exactly what you can do to build up your resources and secure your financial future. Very well put, Jared. Very well put. Resource management. It doesn't matter how much money you're making if you spend it all. Thank you, brother. This is an absolute fact. An example. The man who makes $100,000 a month but spends that same amount or more every month will have less savings than the man who makes only $40,000 a year but saves a percentage of his income. I see what you're saying. I suppose, though, Jared, that the man who is spending $100,000 a month has a big savings account already. But it's a good point that even making $40,000 a year and saving a percentage of your income, you will save more money than the man who spends all of his income, even if his income is more than twice of yours. Without resource management, you will always be destitute. As one man says in The Greatest Man in Babylon, is that what it was called? I'm trying to see if it's on my shelf. Jared, I believe it is called The Richest Man in Babylon. But in the Babylonian context, what is the difference? Thank you for that insight, Jared. As one man says in The Greatest Man in Babylon, I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep. And so will you. We are in Babylon, by the way, if you didn't know. That's not just a place that used to exist. Set a percentage of your income aside and do not touch it, acting as an extra tax that only benefits you. Put it into investments with a gradual return, and repeat. Especially in the West, we have a very consumerist culture. We are bombarded with ads for things that we don't need, with an attempt to psychologically manipulate us to buy from and donate to them. We are so needy for social status that we'd often rather buy some clothes that we don't need He wrote in to look cool. We are so needy to look cool. We don't need to look cool rather than saving. He wrote these so close together, and I don't know where I'm supposed to read them. We are so needy for social status that we'd often rather buy some clothes that we don't need than save that money to build toward our future. When you can actually afford things like that without it affecting your life so negatively. Like he said, without affecting your finances so negatively. He scratched out finances. It's like, hold on, this is not about my finances. I am not my finances. I am my life. It's about my life. I am me. So anyway, Jared said, we are so needy for social status that we'd often rather buy some clothes that we don't need than save money to build toward our future. You can actually afford things like clothes without it affecting your life so negatively. The psychology of a shopaholic is like that of a drug addict. You get a rush of dopamine throughout your system. You get that high. It's a temporary distraction while your finances are somewhat of a permanent problem until the end of your life. Do you agree? All right, let's go back. The psychology of a shopaholic is like that of a drug addict. I can see that. You get a rush of dopamine throughout your system. You get high. Buying something gets you high. It's a temporary distraction. Your finances are somewhat of a permanent problem until the end of your life. Do you agree? Well, no, Jared. Money, this is what Jared missed, is that money, it doesn't end with money. But I think he knew that. He was just he hated the system. He hated the chains. He didn't want to throw his life away. But he saw it in a very negative way, But if you're not going to... You need to get out there and be with people. He was just trading and he was just trading. That's what he did for the last 3 years of his life. That's what he did since COVID. Do you know that bat is the Hebrew word for girl? The Psychology of a Shopaholic. Okay, I read that. No, Jared, I don't agree. Those clothes won't always be trendy and may not even always fit better. Excuse me. And may not even always fit after a while. They will, they will unravel over time and won't last forever. But with the right resource management, you can build up enough capital that through investments, you could live happily, free from work, and free to do as you please for the rest of your life. You see, my speculation about him being murdered has a lot to do with the fact that he became obsessed with understanding stock trading. And he had, without having a conversation with him in the last 2 years of his life, just knowing, and he wrote a book. What? He wrote a book? Of course he did. That's my brother. He recognized a problem and he saw a solution. He followed it to the end, and then he decided he was going to tell everybody about it. Wow, this is a concise manuscript, and it's rather detailed. So this is Jared's message to the world. Trade stocks. That's how the people who don't work make money. They just move money around and they turn it into more money. They move money here, move it there, turn it into more. Jared's going to show us how to do it too. He odds are he died so that we could know this. Let's see. With the right resource management, you can build up enough capital that through investments, you could live happily, free from work, and free to do as you please for the rest of your life. Are you working just to waste time, or are you using that as an opportunity to better your life? Here is a plain way of thinking about it. When you're at work, using the valuable essence of your life and time on this planet, he added a word. When you're at work, using the valuable essence of your spirit and time on this planet, what exactly is your goal? This isn't how a guy talks who's about to kill himself, dude. What? Are you working just to waste time, or are you using that as an opportunity to better your life? Jared, this is what I was trying to tell you the whole time. Here's a plain way of thinking about it. When you're at work, using the valuable essence of your life, of your spirit, and time on this planet, I think he intends it for spirit to come after life, the essence of your life spirit, but that just doesn't sound right, Jared. What exactly is your goal? Is it to make enough to be able to squander when the weekend comes around, leaving you penniless and ready to tiredly trudge back into work Monday morning because you've no money for the bills this month? I don't know. This camera's on. Okay. Man, you got to weigh it with words, Jared. When you're at work using the valuable essence of your life on this planet, what exactly is your goal? Is it to make enough to be able to squander when the weekend comes around, leaving you penniless and ready to tiredly trudge back into work Monday morning because you've no money for the bills this month? What if instead you pay all the bills on the first time? Pay yourself second by investing a percentage of your income for the future, and that small remainder left on once instead. I mean, that's totally logical, Jared. All right, so he's saying, forget about the piggy bank. Forget about your piggy bank. Actually, break your piggy bank. That money that's doing nothing, invest it. Learn how to trade so that you can multiply your money. The people who run the world, that's what they do. That's why they have so much money. Because they've learned how to just multiply their money. You know? I like how you put that, Jared. Work doesn't have to be this thing that you hate, that you have to go do or you'll starve. It can instead be a job that you hate, but will tolerate until you've saved up enough to do something more and be free to live your life as you please from then on. It's talking like a guy who did it. Having goals makes everything more tolerable. Yeah. Once you truly start investing regularly, you'll get that same dopamine rush from shopping by investing money into your brokerage account and watching it build. Hell yeah. And being rich doesn't have to be about greed. Who's greedier between these two people? A wealthy, somewhat frugal man who has patiently saved and invested, pinching his pennies to secure a happy future for his family, and because of it now has the resources to help himself and the ones around him? Or, he said, who is greedier? That guy or the person who lives paycheck to paycheck, thinking of their wants as needs, and having to borrow money from friends and relatives because of their own lack of stability. They don't respect the money that they are privileged to have, and by extension, if they borrow money from others too often without good reason, they don't respect the money of others either. He's quite to the point. I like that. Man, I wish we could talk, Jared. I wish we could talk. There's so much I want to talk to you about, dude. There's so much. We learned and grew so much. Maybe we never woulda. I don't know. What if instead you pay all the bills on time? I read that one. Once you truly start investing regularly, you'll get that same dopamine rush from shopping by investing money into your brokerage account watching it build. Just did that. We can all think of people that fit these two examples. One spending lavishiously until they are desperate when their bills come in the mail, and the other deciding that the payoff of being diligent with their money to better their future is worth it to achieve financial independence, and by extension, independence from work they do not want to have to do in the future. And originally he wrote his money to better his future, but he scratched out his and he wrote there. Imagine if those people are the same person, just making different decisions. Wow, Jared. With drastically different results. Yeah. So imagine if those two different people are the same person, just making different decisions. And these are the different results. Which one do you choose to be? I see. I feel like Jared was reading a bunch of Zig Ziglar. He listened to a lot of audio, but he consumed hundreds of books, hundreds of them every year. And he was just always listening to audiobooks. And, he would listen to financial books, but he also loved biographies like that of Mike Tyson. And he read, Pete Holmes' book. And he read, the autobiography of, I don't know, that fucking Italian, that freaking Sicilian, the grotesque one, the comedian. I don't know that he's funny. He made Jared laugh. Anyway. Which will you choose to be? I'm sorry, Jared, what are you talking about? He says, do you choose to be the person who lives paycheck to paycheck, thinking of their wants as needs, and having to borrow money from friends and relatives because of their own lack of stability? Or a wealthy, frugal man who has patiently saved and invested, pinching his pennies? Now he has the resources to help himself and those around him. You know, I want to be that guy. Imagine if we were all that guy. Like, look, check this out. Think about all the money they got. They got so much money, we could give billions of dollars to our friends in other countries, you know? So the money's there. You just need to... First, you need to identify the pickaxe. And then you need to take it. And you gotta mine, my brothers and sisters. There's gold in them mountains. And I think this is the pickaxe, right? Is this a pickaxe? Or is this a manual? This is a manual. Pickaxe sold separately. That is you. You are the pickaxe. Now, of course, people have different situations, but most of this comes down to habit. If you save and invest, you will grow wealthy. If you do not, you will not have the potential of more options in your life and may be stuck retiring after the person who has invested his money and therefore invested in himself. Or as many unfortunately have to, you may be forced to work until the day that you die. What is the circumstance? Why might I be forced to work until the day that I die? Because I'm not investing my money. You know, Jesus told us to invest. Let me look this up real quick. And I'm talking about the God of the Hebrews, just to be clear. Jesus, I'm on ChatGPT, I'm just typing in Jesus on investing. Those are funny words, yeah? There it is. If you look at how Jesus Christ speaks about money and increase, he doesn't give a modern investment strategy, but he does give a framework that cuts deeper than finance. Parable of the talents. That's what I had in mind. A master gives servants talents or money. So a master gives his servants money. One of them multiplies it, another one multiplies it, and one of them buries it. The master praises the first two and condemns the last. Meaning, what is given to you is meant to grow, not be hidden. What is given to you is meant to grow and not be hidden. This is the closest thing to Jesus explicitly affirming investment. And that's the only thing that came to mind. But yeah, it's scriptural. Invest your money. Even all things that come to you are from God. Okay? Grow. If you can grow with God, then you will grow through God. And you will cause things to grow that you touch. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm an old man one day, I hope to be able to do as I please. I wonder when he wrote this. I really feel like my brother, it doesn't make sense for him to kill himself. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm an old man one day, I hope to be able to do as I please. To not have to worry about pleasing a boss when I have arthritis and my back is killing me. thinking, if only I had saved more when I was younger and did more when I was more physically capable, I could be living my dream right now, but instead I slept in thinking about him, his dreams. He anticipated being an old man. You deserve success. Only you can make yourself successful. Stop waiting around and start on what you need to do. Having trouble? Do the things that the version of you that you want to be would do. And you become them. Then the momentum begins. You can transform into a more efficient version of yourself. It takes a bit of effort, but it's easier to do something than to do nothing. Doing nothing requires you to make up excuses and think about all the ways that you can't achieve something, or how you can always do it later. If you do it now, it will be done. That takes much less mental effort. Becoming efficient will change your life. All he cared about was helping people. How could he have killed himself? You know, I haven't seen his autopsy report. I haven't seen anything. I haven't even seen his death certificate. Why is my brother dead? Why is he dead? He's not dead. Right? He's right here with you and me. He's talking to us right now. We're listening, Jared. You can transform into a more efficient version of yourself. He's making sure that we know we don't have to be different people. We don't have to be someone different. It's okay to be you. You can be better. You're still you. Don't be another person. But recognize what you can be. And you just have to believe it. And you have to act like that person that you want to be. Let me go get a tissue. Becoming efficient will change your life. That happened to me. Jared, that's what I was trying to tell you, man, is that happened to me. It happened to me in 2023. I stopped worrying and I became efficient. Because I started caring about other people more than my own problems. Where I had all these problems, I stopped going, oh, my problems. and I realized that I can actually control things right in front of me. And I started recognizing other people's problems and having a solution and solving problems for other people. I could not be efficient in solving my own problems because these were circumstances that were out of my control. Not being able to see my daughter, losing my truck, losing my job, being broke, my power going out, living on my parents' couch. I couldn't control that. But when I woke up, I started seeing my parents' property clearly. And I saw that my dad needed help and that nature was taken over and things needed to be done. And I was unemployed and I was just at home and I had changed. And I was like, that doesn't have to be like that. And then I went and I changed it and I cleaned it and I did this and that. And then it looked better. I had helped my dad. I felt accomplished. There's nothing that feels better than serving other people. And if we all serve each other, then we're all lifted up together. And this is the glory of Christ, is us raising one another up together. It's about having options. The more wealth you acquire, the more options you have. To live where you please, buy what you need, and even things you don't, without it being a stressful ordeal as it is now. So right, dude. So right. I mean, dude, did you write this like 3 years ago, dude? Remember this. Every business in the world is but a byproduct of supply and demand. People need to eat, and so there are restaurants. People need housing and infrastructure, and thus we have construction workers, the real estate industry, and landlords. I tell you this, ain't no such thing as a landlord. The word lord means loaf warden. The loaf warden of the land? What the hell does that mean? Loaf ward. Ward, guard. You know that, right? Ward. A warden is a guardian. People require entertainment. And thus we have a thriving entertainment industry in television, music, and video games. See, that's your problem, Jared. People require entertainment. So, imagine you're an entrepreneur. And you want to start your own successful business. You're tired of your 9-to-5 and you want to try something new, but you're not quite sure what would be the best choice for your company. The solution? Find out what your customer base already needs. Imagine you're an entrepreneur and you want to start your own successful business. You're tired of your 9-to-5, you want to try something new, but you're not quite sure what would be the best choice for your company. Find out what your customer base already needs. Well, so he's saying the customer base of wherever you work right now. So like what are you familiar with already? Find out what your customer base already needs. All right, let's see where he's going with this. The market is already there for you. Now learn the new skills you need to realize Now learn the new skills you need to capitalize on it and adapt. Damn, yeah. The market is already there for you. Okay, he said that. As Bruce Lee once said, be a formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Do you know that would be like water, Bruce Lee? You need to be able to adapt and not get stuck in the thinking that is failing you. If your idea isn't working, it's time for a new idea. Oh, that was the preface. This is a table of contents. Chapters. 1, adapting to a market. 2, resource management. 3, investing. 4, the stock market. 5, how to pick stocks well. 5, again, the Greeks. 6, real estate. 7, crypto. 8, fear of failure. 9, maintaining confidence. 10, potential. Okay, brothers and sisters, I guess we're going to go through this one chapter at a time. See you in the next one.